garlic mustard. One of the biggest threats to our native plant and animal communities is the spreading of non-native invasive species, plants that come from somewhere else and outcompete our native plants. This one came from Europe. It was brought here as a cooking herb. If you crush a leaf, it does smell like garlic, and it tastes like garlic. It is safe to consume, but we wish it wouldn't grow here. This plant actually can release chemicals underground that can prevent other plants from germinating. In this way, they take over space that important food plants, food for wildlife, might be growing in. Whenever we can, we remove this plant from our parks. We bag it up in plastic bags and let it sit in the sun all summer long. This makes sure that the seeds are dead before we discard the plant. Right here next to Walnut Creek, I found a really great patch of native wildflowers. Growing right next to each other are two plants that are very similar: squirrel corn and Dutchman's breeches. Notice the leaves of these two plants are almost identical. The flowers are a little bit different. This one is squirrel corn. Notice how the very tops of the flowers are rounded, whereas in Dutchman's breeches, they're a little bit pointed. They kind of look like upside down pants. Both of these plants are very valuable food source for some of our native bees. It's really great to have them growing here at Smeck. Nearby we also have Trillium, although it's not quite blooming yet. It will bloom in a couple days, maybe up to a week, depending on weather. We also have some leaves of Trout Lily with their noticeable speckles. And we have wild ginger. Well, this is a fascinating plant. Generally, when we think about pollinators, we were thinking about things like butterflies and bees. And of course, they are very, very important pollinators, but they're not the only thing that can pollinate our plants. The purpose of pollination is reproduction. The plant is trying to attract its pollinator so that that animal can share pollen with other flowers. If you notice, here on the wild ginger, which is not quite blooming yet, the flower bud is right down there on the bottom. Most plants that have their flowers on the ground are not trying to attract butterflies or bees. They're trying to attract less common pollinators or insects that are less frequently used as pollinators. In the case of wild ginger, they're trying to attract ants and maybe an occasional fly. These plants will often have brown or green flowers as well. In the case of our wild ginger here, it gets a very pretty red-brown flower right down there next to the ground. Unfortunately, in this beautiful patch of wildflowers, I have found let's see, where did it go? A garlic mustard right there. I'll be pulling that out and taking it out of the park.